What you see here is my mind decoded through brushstrokes, through colors, and through textures. Through this visual language, I connect with people around the world. This is how I translate my thoughts and experiences. Over the years, I have had the opportunity to connect with many different communities. We build community these days because it is not a natural thing anymore. We lived in smaller communities before where we each had a role. We don't have our tribe around us anymore, so we build communities for different reasons. I grew up with people who considered service to humanity their dharma. I grew up in a very, very congested, crowded city in Calcutta, a city of 23 million, where all of life's despair and all of life's glory stares you in the face every moment of every day. There is no escape. But in this crazy jungle, we had a little sanctuary, a little oasis, a community where everyone felt welcome, everyone felt safe. We shared, we loved together, we learned together. There was unconditional support for everyone who came. And this is where my core beliefs and my values were formed. Every Saturday, we got together, young and old, and peeled vegetables and chopped vegetables and cooked for a soup kitchen that happened the next morning. We fed it. The soup kitchen's been going on now for about more than 60 years now, and it happens every Sunday morning without fail. It's a way the community gets together and shares and feels like they belong and they're helping and being part of a greater whole. My father was one of the keepers of this community. I feel that this quote by Rabindranath Tagore really he embodied that. He was a source of inspiration for me and for many others. And I feel that my Om, my first vibration, the thing that I vibrated and related to and resonated with, began right here in this community. And of course, as time went on, the ripples grew and spread and evolved on their own. And slowly, the lotus petals emerged from the noise and the confusion, and sometimes they would shine brightly in their purity and essence. I feel that today we live in a world where we need to build our own communities because it helps us to center and balance between our intellectual and emotional centers. We follow a very different social order in the working world, even though as humans we care and nurture instinctively. It doesn't necessarily apply in our everyday life. And I think communities help us bridge that gap. I want to share 3 specific stories with you. These are communities that I've been involved in over time. They have been part of my journey. And the first one is based in the Congo, deep in the heart of Africa. And it is about 2 sisters who grew up as children of missionaries in the Congo in a place called Lotumbe, which is a village that literally you have to travel for 7 days in a dugout canoe on what is called the National Highway of the Congo to get there. Well, they had some fond memories of their childhood, but as they returned in 2005 to visit, they realized the country had been ravaged by civil war and really wanted to do something to help. So they connected with 2 women in Lutumbe and gathered enough money to buy a sewing machine. 2 sewing machines were sent over to Lutumbe. A sewing school was born. Income generation became a possibility, and we were encouraged by this response and created a virtual community with other women based in America, in Australia, in Taiwan, and the Congo, and managed and supported other income generation and capacity building projects like water, clean water, medical training, experimental farms, schools, income generation for women. People in Lutumbe now had people in the outside world who were looking out for them. My next story is based here in Taipei. We are cultivating a culture of listening. It started with a chance encounter of a ripple maker from Taiwan and a young singer from India. They connected, and through that connection, it sparked off a series of other beautiful connections that resulted in what is now called the Red Room. The big idea is to create a space, a safe space, where we can nurture deep listening for ourselves and for each other. As artists, we tend to be rather abstract, so it's very hard for us to put a label on the Red Room. So we make it easier by creating events around art, music, spoken word, to allow people to experience the place at their own pace. What drives us, what keeps us going, is the energy that each person who walks into that space brings to it, each community stew that's made. Everything that people share with us, everything that they feel. It's a vulnerable place to be, but it's also a safe space to share of yourself. And we look forward to every new collaboration, to every new act of creation. We look forward to every new energy that enters and forms and creates what happens there. One of the really good examples of how art can build community is what happened when a group of artists and musicians decided to respond to the devastation caused by Typhoon Morakot in 2009. So what did we do? We just got together as artists and musicians and did what we knew how to do best. We created a full day of live art and music. We painted. People could walk through the space and experience it. They could see the process of creation. And at the end of the day, we sold the art at an auction and raised about $500,000 NT, which was not bad considering we were just having a really good time doing what we knew and what loved to do. I want to move you now to India, where I was honored to be part of a nationwide initiative called Daan Utsav, which means joy of giving. It's a festival where we connect the receivers with the givers. Again, all run by volunteers. And I want to share one specific story because there were so many stories, and I don't think I can go into many of them, but one really touched my heart, and that was when we approached a blind school, a blind orphanage, and asked them what they would like to receive, but they wanted to give instead. So we connected them with Senior Citizen Home, and the children went and sang to them. It was a beautiful moment. The seniors were in bliss. We melted just being there and being part of that moment. What happened next? It was just a miracle because the seniors started singing to the kids. And after that, they got up and wanted to help these children. So they gave donations of money to the orphanage for their treatment. The two founders of the senior home and the children's home decided to visit each other occasionally I feel it was the perfect community where the young and the old both fulfilled each other's needs. It was the gift that just kept on giving. I do believe that each of us has that place where our core beliefs can become the greatest gifts to someone. And I believe we all have the potential to change lives. We all have the potential to make each other's lives better. Walk with us. Join us. I think the world needs people like me. It needs people like you. Let's not ask why. Let's just ask how. Thank you for listening.